Hey, thanks for joining me today. Oh, it is. That's not what I wanted. It is April 19th, 2023. My name's Coffee, Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. And just a reminder, I do stream. I do have this fantastic permanent link, rumble.com/coffeeandnuance/live. That's a way to find me every day, streaming on Rumble and on YouTube. But today, we are talking about the framing effect. Yeah. And no, I'm not talking about putting pictures on your wall. No, for those of you who don't know, it's basically when people make different decisions based on how information is presented to them. It's like the old saying goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And it's never more true than when it comes to politics. Basically, the framing effect is the way information's presented to us, it can influence our choices. For example, if I were to tell you that a product has a 90% success rate, you're more likely to buy it than if I told you it has a 10% failure rate. It's all about the way you frame it. And you know what they say, perception is everything. And if you can control someone's perception, you can control everything. It's like playing The Sims. Yes, I have old references. I'm old. It's like playing The Sims, but with real people. Want to make them happy? Give them a cute puppy. Want to make them angry? Show them a picture of Biden or Trump or, whatever will make them angry, right? But the thing is, the framing effect is used everywhere. It's in advertising, politics. It's even in relationship. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. When your man forgets your anniversary, he's not a forgetful jerk. He was just busy at work. And guys, when your lady spends like 3 hours getting ready, she's not high maintenance. She's just taking pride in her appearance. It's amazing how people can be swayed by a few choice words. I mean, is it tax relief? Or is it tax cuts for the billionaires? That's how you frame it. Is it gun control? Or is it taking away your Second Amendment rights? Again, it's all about the framing, folks. And you know what they say, you can't fool all the people all the time. And that's true. Some people, they're just too smart to be fooled all the time. But they're like the designated driver at a party full of drunk people. For the rest of us, we're just along for the ride. So next time you make a decision, ask yourself, am I making this decision or is someone else making this decision for me? And if you're not sure, flip a coin, or better yet, use another 80s reference, 90s reference, get a magic 8-ball. It's just got about as much as chance as being right as anything else. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Oh yeah, the framing effect. And if we want to go crazy with the framing effect, what if we do that? That's not annoying as hell, is it? Oh man. But it really is how things are being presented. And you also need to really be aware of this when you are getting information from certain silos, if you will, from your own little bubble. Are you in a bubble, like I say, that it's protecting Second Amendment rights? Well, that's the way it's going to be framed. I think my flame is dying here. I don't know. That's not a good sign. We'll put it out. Anyway. But how you frame something can be very, very important, especially if you want people to go along with what you're saying. You can do this with your kids as well. You frame it like, oh, we will do this thing after you do this chore, or after you do this chore, you'll get a reward. Well, that might be more successful if you just yell at them to clean their room or whatever it happens to be. This is the framing effect. And so that's the thing to really think about. When you decide on something without a whole lot of thought, think about the way it was presented to you. And after thinking about that, giving it careful consideration, you still decide to do the same thing? Well, that's cool. But at least you're aware of how it's being sold to you. So we got a good, interesting show for you today. I only got a couple of things to get to, but I think they're very important. So let us get to the first story about HPV. Oh yeah, HPV can cause numerous kinds of cancer, yet many people don't even realize it. Now, a majority of Americans are unaware that the human papillomavirus, that's a tricky one to say, can cause major cancers according to a new study. The research found that despite HPV being the most commonly sexually transmitted infection in the U.S., a third of those who knew of it or aware of it, let me back up. A third of those who knew of it were unaware it could cause throat or anal cancer. Furthermore, the study found a significant decline in awareness that HPV is linked to cervical cancer. The decline came despite the approval of an HPV vaccine in 2006 and its subsequent updating to prevent anal, oral, and head and neck cancer. HPV is responsible for more than 42 million infections in the U.S. alone. Now this, I don't know. To me, this was shocking that people didn't know about this. But again, I should frame this in a way, with the theme, framing this. Shocking new information you need to know. Now do I have your ear? Yes, HPV is very common. It's the most common sexually transmitted disease. And a lot of people, I've heard people say this, that, it's no big deal. It's not, oh, you don't really get any flare-ups or anything like that. That's not the point, right? That's not the point that we care about. We don't want to get cancer, right? And if this sexually transmitted disease really increases the odds of that happening, it's a lot more dangerous than just getting some flare-ups or getting some, little sores. Little sores, big deal. Cancer, now that's a big deal. And so if you were unaware of this, like a third of Americans that knew about HPV were not aware of this. So if you were unaware of that, that is something to take into consideration. I think I've always known that. And I'm glad that I did, because I think that that's one of the driving factors in making decisions, personal decisions that you make on your extracurricular activities, shall we say. You certainly don't want to get that if you can avoid it, right? If you can avoid it, because there's a lot of really bad long-term consequences from that. So just sharing this information with you. But let me know, were you aware of this or not? If you were not aware of this, I'd really like to know if that's, if you didn't know that. Let me know in the comments. And next, let's get to another story internationally. Talking about the G7. Now, as a reminder for everyone that's watched the show, I've done a couple stories about the G7, but the way to remember who the G7 are, right? It's the US and the UK, because they're always together. We got Germany, France, and Italy. Those are the three largest continental European countries. And then we got Japan, for whatever reason, and Canada. That's who we're talking about with the G7. It used to be a G8, but apparently they didn't care for one of those actors, and they're no longer part of the group. But the group of 7 countries have agreed to speed up their phase out of fossil fuels to achieve net zero in energy systems by 2050 at the latest. The commitment has been seen as a potential step toward a global deal for all countries to phase out fossil fuels. However, it's also facing criticism for not being backed up by firm action, including financial support for developing countries to transition to clean energy, insufficient financial support from wealthy countries to help developing countries switch to clean energy could weaken the G7's leverage in bringing other countries on board with a commitment to eventually quit oil and gas. This is just really odd to me. This is just really odd. Now, I know that they're saying 2050, so we got a ways to go. But this is really putting things into motion to phase out fossil fuels in these 7 countries. But what does it matter if they phase out? They could phase out all the fossil fuels in those countries. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever if countries like China and India continue to grow and have more and more industry. And what about the pollution from fossil fuels that will be coming from Africa? With the growth rate there, it's going to be massive, massive. So I don't know, unless there's some new technology that keeps the sky above me, like if they have a wall to keep out the pollution and all of the problems from the developing countries that are polluting so much, to keep it away from me. I don't know exactly what they're doing with this, but this looks just to be a way for these countries to exert more power on smaller countries. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that's what they're planning to do. Although it's interesting because I talked about last week that Germany just phased out their last nuclear reactor. So, what are they just going to have windmills? I don't know what the plan is over there. Anyway, this is a confusing story to me. If you know more about it than me, point me in the right direction because I'm not sure about this one. But let's get to something else. Parler, the self-proclaimed uncancelable free speech platform, has been sold and temporarily shut down for a strategic assessment by its new owner Starboard, which promises a revamp. The acquisition was completed without disclosing financial terms. Parler's so-called lax approach to removing disinformation came under scrutiny after the January 6th and was subsequently kicked off of Amazon Web Services. Parler's active user base appears much smaller than its registered user, and Starboard claims that AI technology can help boost its reach. So, Parler shut down. You probably didn't even miss it because I think they have less than 1 million active users over there. But this is what happens to companies that don't play ball with input from the government. As we know, Twitter had a lot of people from the government working at their company. We know that that's true about Google. We know that's true about Facebook. Social media companies that don't decide to get in bed with government seem to find a way of getting targeted and being pushed to the margins. It's a pattern. It looks like it's about 100%. It's hard to survive if you don't play ball with the people in charge of the country. It's too bad. I think that we need alternatives to government-controlled social media platforms. But, we'll see what happens with Parler. I didn't use Parler. I checked it out. It wasn't that appealing to me, but I appreciate alternative platforms being able to serve more people than, the people that are canceled. So anyway, is Parler going to come back? I don't know. I don't know if it will come back at all. It was a little odd that you buy something and then just shut it down. That's no good. I know what it's like. If you shut down something for a great amount of time, people forget about it. I wasn't making videos for a year. I needed a break. I didn't make videos. And when I came back, not that many people left. To even of the subscribers that I had, very few were still around. So Parler, if you're taking a break, you need to come back as soon as possible to try to keep some of that momentum. But lastly, I've got some good news for you. Let's get to the good news. National Park Week is a 9-day event that runs from April 22nd to April 30th, celebrating the beauty and diversity of America's national parks, encouraging people to explore and connect with nature, and advocating for environmental protection and climate-forward initiatives. The week's activities include documentaries, podcasts, books, history lessons. Each day of National Park Week has a different theme. The event was first established in 1991 to mark the 75th anniversary of the National Park Service, and it always coincides with Earth Day. National Volunteer Week precedes National Park Week, celebrating the contributions of volunteers who care for national parks. So this is always exciting. I know that they have free entry to national parks coming up this weekend. So if you haven't been to a national park because of the entrance fees, sometimes it can get pricey with a whole family. You can go this weekend when they're free. You can just do a quick search, or as always, I leave a link to every story that I do in the description of the video. But I think that that's a great way to kick in the end of spring, beginning of summer. I know summer technically starts much later than now, but for someone out here in Oregon, it's like the celebration of it not raining every single day. To get out there in the national parks next week, I think it's some good news. Is there a national park that you're going to visit? Let me know in the comments, and I will be reading all your comments and responding to them in the Aftershow. So that's after I hit the outro music, I go through the comments and read them. If that's not your thing, that's cool. You don't have to stick around for all of that. But if you do, I'll see you then. But until tomorrow, have a beautiful day. Peace. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Okay, I'll leave that up. That's just a reminder of a permanent link that you can find this show. rumble.com/coffeeandnuance/live. You will get to that very easily. You can just bookmark it and you can go watch the show live there every day, making it a little easier. I wish they would do that on YouTube as well. That would make it a little bit more convenient rather than having to search for a notification and go to my channel and click on live and all that. That's a lot of extra work, so we don't need that. Let's check out the chat here. We got Duggo over on live chat. What's up? Tobias is here. Is there as well. Hello. Duggo says, "Oh no, cancer. Sorry, Tom, but after C19, I'm going to need to see some real data showing causation before I take the word of someone hawking more something for Big Pharma." Well, I was not hawking that, and you're not going to get that from me. I know that they say that there is a vaccine for that, but it is only for people of a certain age or younger. I don't know about that because that came around after me, and it doesn't involve me. And but I will. That's something that I would definitely look into if I had kids, to take care of them. Okay, so, but let's see. It's interesting. I tried fixing the blue light. I took it apart. Can you still hear it? Let me know if you can still hear it. It's not as bad, but it's still really loud, so I'm just going to turn it back off. Tom, is the glass half full or half empty? The framing effect. It's half full if you're filling it. It's half empty if you're pouring it out. Again, it's all how you frame it. Ah, yes. Fireman 2032 finally made it to another live show. Good to see you. Good to see you at the live show. Welcome. Miranda says everyone gets the half full, half empty backwards. The half full focus on what it is instead of the possibilities. Only wants to protect the half full. The half empty people focus on the empty and what they can do with it. My glass is half full of orange juice. My glass of orange juice is half empty, and I could add some tequila. Again, it's how you frame it, Miranda. Yes, there's room for tequila. Make yourself a tequila sunrise. Yes, it is hump day. Yeah, my name's Coffee, Tom Coffee. I don't know why I said it that way today. I just did. That's the thing, is when you're live, you don't realize how disjointed you speak as a person until I go my whole life talking with people. I think that I'm pretty eloquent and choose my words properly, and then I see myself when I record myself live, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? You got sentence fragments and all over the place. It's interesting. Let's see some HPV vaccines information back in circa 2006. Oh, you remember that? Yeah. I don't remember that. I mean, I remember it was a thing, but I didn't pay attention to it at all. What's up to everybody listening at work? Cool. Glad you're here. I hope the end of the world happens much sooner than 2050, says Natasha. I don't want the end of the world. Let's let's not root for that. I think it'll be the end to a lot of things before it's the end of the world. Back on Rumble, Duggo says, not accusing you of hawking, but the source of the story. Sorry, should have been more clear. I knew you weren't saying that about me. I'm a very literal person. Oil doesn't come from fossils. Okay. Better than batteries. Okay. Well, we got some opinions here in the chat. That's fun. I think it comes from the people of the previous civilization. They got suddenly squished into big greasy spots. Well, that is one viewpoint. I appreciate all the compliments that I get. I have a hard time reading compliments to myself all the time, but I do appreciate that. I understand a lot of people go missing in national parks, though. See the Paulides guy? I don't know who that was. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're around some organized crime or something like that and you need to disappear, I think the national parks there's a lot of area out there. There's a lot of things that go on in national parks. But you know what? There's a lot of things that go on everywhere. So we're not going to blame the parks for that. I wonder what is the food of choice for Sasquatches. Sasquatches. Is it Sasquatches or Sasquatch? To Sasquatch? I'm not sure about that. I'm going to guess, though, it's probably the same diet as black bears. That would be my guess. Wink, wink. See, they're bears, fish, berries, honey. Okay. Sasquatch prefer vegan hikers. They may, but I'm going to need a little more data on that. Let's see, but the humidity is on the way. Well, it's been raining all day outside my window today, so I guess it's pretty humid here. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. It's funny, I keep bringing up the G7. It is one of those things that you think about one topic, and then the topic just keeps seemingly reappearing. But I've talked about the G7 a number of times in the last couple of weeks. I think I'm tuned into it more, and so now I'm just seeing those stories more and more. And now I think I finally got a handle on who's in the G7, right? It's the US, the UK, Canada, Japan, Germany, France, and Italy. Easy. And do you know who used to be in the G7 when it was called the Group of Eight? That's right, Russia. But Russia's no longer in the G8. We've made it the G7. So, I don't know. I think it would be useful if we had Russia in the G8. That way that Russia's a very big country, and if they're working on climate stuff, might be nice to have some cooperation from that country, but apparently not right now. Not right now, but hoping for the future. Hoping for the future. Anyway, I'm just babbling. That's all I got for you today. But just a reminder here, I think it's really cool that Rumble has now given me a permanent link to the show that you can just bookmark and click on it and go to the live show every day without having to search for it. I think that's really cool. And that also should make it easier if you want to go over to Rumble. So, anyway, maybe I'll see you over there. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and really think about what national park are you going to go to next week, because I invite everyone to get out there to a national park. It really is something that they had the foresight to save these areas from development so that we can all enjoy them. So I hope you are able to go enjoy them. Anyway, have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow. Peace.